GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to boldly go where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
What?
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is another supplemental log. This one's a special one. It's coming to you live because, well, there's some things that are going to be said, and we're going to break it, but that's okay. First, there she is to my left, your right, looking resplendent in her mermaid gear tonight. It's Terry Lynn.
And I'm sitting in a big martini glass.
Yeah, you are.
Cheers.
Too bad it's filled with milk.
That's the biggest olive I've ever seen. That's not an olive. Whoa.
Ew. And there he is to my right, your left, still wearing his gear from the Hagrid collection. It's Ceridium.
Kapla.
And across
I
from
find
us,
it slimming. I find it very slimming.
it is slimming. I like the tie, the spotted tie.
Thank you.
You know, Hagrid, when he dresses up, looks like Fred Flintstone. But anyway.
Yabba dabba do.
And there she is
happy
across from us, as always, bringing pie to the festivities. It's Jesfa.
Good morning. Yeah, it's morning in the Philippines, so good morning to you folks in Manila and all the ships at sea.
And joining us on this very special live April 1st edition of a supplemental log. First, he's beautiful, he's talented, he's a funny man, and we're always happy to have him on. It's Kevin Dilmore.
I thought for sure you were introducing someone else, but thanks. It's nice to see or hear everyone.
Oh, welcome back. It's nice
Welcome
to hear
back.
your voice.
And also is Dayton Ward.
Yo, hello. I mean, with that wind up, I knew where it was going.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, way to telegraph the play, bro.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Long
good
time
evening
no
to you
chat.
all.
It's been a while since we've had you both on.
It has been a while.
It has.
Now, Dayton, you joined us for the 24 hours, correct?
I did, but it was early on, and you guys were
Yeah.
still like aware.
Oh, we all stayed up for all 25 hours.
But I mean,
And
that's
at
what I'm
one
saying.
point-
I was early. It was. I think
Yeah.
you guys had only been into it for 3 or 4 hours, so you were a long ways away from the total bedlam that the show became.
Well,
we were still speaking in complete sentences.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
We
you all
got
were like
really
human.
lucky because it was like about hour, I want to say 16 or 17, that Kirsten Beyer and James Swallow, or what? No, Kirsten Beyer was on.
Yeah, and then she threw down the gauntlet at James.
And he
and
heard her.
And then he heard her, and Swallow joined us, and he was on. Who was he on with?
Oh, God, the next two guests, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that
I
was
think it was
but-
Mark Cushman.
Was that the middle of the night for you guys?
It was about
Yeah.
Oh, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Okay, so for him it was like mid morning. He was
Yeah.
he hadn't even put on pants yet. He was just hanging out.
He
Right.
never
So I was
puts
like,
on
okay,
pants.
that worked out for you guys.
I
I
see
mean-
what you did there.
Yeah, I see what you did there. But I mean, I just thought it was wonderful. It was a wonderful bit of logistical, planning that you all decided to do a 24-hour marathon on the weekend that you gained an hour for daylight.
Well, we found that out the
That was
weekend
just
that we
stupid
gained
of
the
us.
hour.
saving. So
It wasn't. on
I thought
purpose.
that was brilliant. Whoever came up with that plan.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
want to. I
They've
still
been
want
fired,
to give.
too.
It's very rare I give credit to him, but one person I definitely want to give thanks to during all of that was Steve, he was up 72, 96 hours
It was
straight.
stupid. It was a
It was so
stupid number of
stupid.
hours.
But he was right on top of things with the special effects and the sounds and everything. So it's very
You
rare
guys had
that I
prize
give him.
giveaways. You had all kinds of cool stuff
Oh,
going
yeah.
We
on.
gave away
Oh, yeah.
prizes every
That's
hour.
And the
It
one
was-
that killed me, the funniest part about the whole thing that killed me was that Mike had rented a hotel room
Yeah.
to do all this. Like
Yeah.
he's cooking meth and doing all the techie stuff for the show at the same time. I'm like, that is awesome.
Yep.
They're gonna find a body in plastic under the bed when he checks out on Sunday.
It was breaking G&T.
It was to supplement any donations that we got.
Okay.
Well, the funny thing was we had planned that we were going to take shifts sleeping.
Right.
And it just never came to be. I remember at one point, cream of wheat was made for me at about 5 o'clock in the morning.
And that's
Well,
not a
hell.
euphemism.
That's
Well,
not
that's not a party.
Do
Nothing
for a
is.
bowl of
It's
cream
not.
of wheat. At work, they have this thing now called overnight oats. Have you heard of this? This is a deal, I guess, where instead of making cream of wheat or oatmeal like you're supposed to, you just soak raw oats in almond milk or soy milk, and then in the morning you just kind of eat that mushy stuff instead of making real oatmeal.
Who the hell thinks
I
these
guess
things
it's a
are
thing.
awesome?
What kind
It's
of
like
Hogwarts hell is
paleo-medieval
that?
shit. Ew.
That's the kind of
I
stuff
don't
you
know.
feed prisoners.
Yeah, well, they're also giving us now this egg-free raw cookie dough, and it says, egg-free chocolate chip cookie dough, and in parentheses it says get a spoon. So we took one of them and said egg-free chocolate chip cookie dough, but crossed out the parentheses and wrote instead of crying.
There was
Well,
somebody
the
told me a
ironic thing
story.
is the overnight oats there, that's what they're giving the soldiers deployed, and they're
was
still
gonna
eating
say-
worse than the people in Guantanamo.
Man, overnight oats sounds like a band name.
You know what? Overnight oats and soak it and rip it.
There you go. Oh,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that what?
You
I was gonna
spackle
say,
with that
is that what happens when Hall dies?
Oh.
Oh, man.
Decent.
That-
Oh,
took me a
wow.
second to get it.
I needed some adult education to get that one.
But you're talking about cookie dough. Somebody told me a story about a guy that they worked with, like in an office, cubicle farm or whatever. And there was a guy, her coworker of this person, would eat cookie dough, like the roll of cookie dough that you would buy at the grocery store. Like you would eat a candy bar or,
Every day?
a cereal bar. No, just like that was his snack that he would eat on, would be a thing of cookie dough. And I'm just like, I guess that's what you do when you've just decided to hell with it all.
When it just doesn't matter anymore.
Guess not. And I'm just like, that's like trying to eat butter.
Ugh.
Was he like a rotund man?
I don't know. He or she, I forget, remember who told the story, but they did not offer that sort of detail. But I mean, I can't imagine it being otherwise because I just don't understand. I don't know. I mean, I've had the cookie dough, like when your mom makes cookies or whatever. And I'm like, all right, you know what? There's a reason we bake this stuff.
Well, I will say.
Did you get to lick the bowl?
No, I'm not going there.
Is
I
that
will
a
say,
euphemism?
working
Lick
in
a
an
bowl,
office
lick a bowl.
Hey, Z. Working in an office with 9 women, evidently cookie dough and tears is a woman's companion.
Pretty much, yeah.
The
Pretty
new
much, it's true.
fragrance by Betty Crocker.
It's true.
Shoes.
Baby shoes.
It comes with a roll of cookie dough and a cat.
Hey, don't pick on cats, mister. So, what have you guys been working on? You working on anything together?
Well, yeah, we're busy.
Yeah, we've got. Some things we can talk about and some things we can't. But yeah,
Well, I mean, the most recent thing we worked on was the Legacies trilogy. We wrote the third book in the Legacies trilogy that'll be out in the summer for the 50th anniversary. Greg Cox wrote the first book. That's called Captain to Captain. And then Dave Mack wrote Best Defense, which is book 2. And then Kevin and I teamed up for the third book called Purgatory's Key. We turned in the manuscript. I want to say I lost track of days, but because things got kind of crazy for me at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I want to say it was late January. We were very much late.
I think that's okay.
with delivering the manuscript. And in fact, we just turned in corrected, copy edited pages on Monday.
On
Now,
Monday.
we've asked you guys about the writing of this. Now, how do you divvy up the copy editing and all of that? Do you just split it in half, or how do you
Basically, we run through it separately, and then we use the track changes so that we can compare the notes that we have, and then we make sure that we're both in sync with the changes that we're putting in there. Most of the stuff is pretty nickel and dime. It's like, word choices or grammar or, whatever. And I don't usually worry too much about those because 99.9% of the time the copy editor is correct and I just screwed it up somewhere. Or one of us screwed it up somewhere. The only times we really get crazy about it is when there's an actual, we need to make a tweak to the manuscript because of a plot point or something, or we didn't explain something correctly, or we dorked something up somewhere, or we left something dangling that we shouldn't have, that kind of thing.
Now, have you ever
It's just nice to have two sets of eyes on it.
Yeah,
regardless.
definitely.
So, that's something that really helps. And in our copy editing phase, I guess 5. Between CBS and Margaret, and the copy editor and the two of us, we had a pretty good scouring of that first draft.
Well,
of
that's
the
just the
manuscript.
first time, and then it'll go back. We'll read it again when it comes back from typesetting, and then there'll be a proofreader that gets to read it. That is a person who shall remain nameless because we don't ever know who the person is. So there's an independent proofreader who's going to look at it with fresh eyes and make sure that we didn't completely dork something up.
It stops you from putting a hit out on them, doesn't it?
That too, yeah.
Have you two ever during this phase ever especially when you say about a plot point, had something where you guys just it came to a loggerheads on something where you one wanted one thing and where Kevin was right and Dayton was wrong and it came to a loggerheads on it?
Well, that never happened.
The thing, it truly doesn't. I mean, yeah, we just enjoy the same kinds of stories, and because of that, our approach is pretty much on the same point. It's kind of weird sometimes. I mean,
You
it's
guys
not
really
one of
are
those
married,
finish
aren't you?
each other's sentences.
Well, I mean,
but no,
we've had occasions where we approach something and then we go into our separate corners. We break it apart and then we go to our separate corners to write on whatever it is we're supposed to write on, and then we reconvene at some point mid-process, like while the manuscript is still being written. We realize you zigged and I zagged, and so we have to go back and figure out,
true.
who went off the tracks, Kevin. And who was
Where
correct?
the points of divergence are.
And who actually is correct about the whole thing? Me,
Margaret.
And then Margaret. Yeah, and then we work out. Yeah, no, I mean it's that very rarely happens though. I mean it typically only happens if there's another set of circumstances weighing down the project. Like for example, Dayton's personal crap, like my mother's health, or the other stuff that I was dealing with. So it's like but for the most part, we usually stay in touch. So.
Mm-hmm. And if something were to occur to us late in the game, I mean, when we're doing we've gotten the proposal approved and we're looking at stuff, and all of a sudden there's like, hey, you know what? This might be kind of cool if we just kind of carved this little part out. Or, I mean, sometimes we'll see things that maybe we didn't need 2 steps to get there. We just needed 1, so we'll excise it. So there might be something like that. It's like, hey, that whole issue with this? Well, I don't think we need it, and I didn't write it, kind of thing. But that's, I mean, again, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Now,
with Purgatory's Key, we were trying to figure out something for McCoy to do, and we thought, well, it might be kind of cool to pair him up with somebody else to do something that wasn't necessarily medical but still scientific. And then as we started to dig around and realize that we could actually have him be a sounding board for some people in different scenes, then that's like, well, maybe we don't need him messing with this thing when we've used him very nicely as more of a conversation rather than a researcher. And so that was something that just evaporated from the proposal.
Now, one thing I was happy to hear you guys say is because when I think of like The Fall or any of these mini series that have come out, I'm glad that Greg Cox is a part of this one, because I'm gonna make an assumption this is an original series setting.
Yes.
He's so good at that. One of my favorite trilogies is still the Khan trilogy he wrote.
Oh, me too.
We've already got the cover copy's been released, right? For the 3 books. Am I right?
I think so.
I think it has been. I think so. So I mean, we can delve a little bit into what's going on and set it up. I mean, we're not going to give it all away, but I mean, basically the 3 books deal with something that has been passed down from Enterprise captain to Enterprise captain. So, like, for example, when April took command of the Enterprise, when he was in command, and the officer that we will come to know as Number 1 was serving under him as a young officer, they came across something. And after their little adventure with this gizmo, April took possession of it and then surreptitiously hands it off to his successor, Christopher Pike, at some point.
Oh, I love this.
And then that, in turn, is transferred from Pike to Kirk at some point. And it's while it's in Kirk's possession that, of course, everything goes to shit.
Well, of course.
And then, but we have reasons to involve. So we're going to get a look at, April's command of the Enterprise and a little bit of Pike's tenure aboard the ship as the captain, but not as much as you might think, because Greg had just come off writing a Christopher Pike novel, or a novel set on Pike's Enterprise. So we didn't want to redo that again. because one of the things we were also talking about for the trilogy was that it doesn't contradict anything else in the books, but it stands. It's meant to stand by itself. You can read it without having read any of the other books. So if you're coming to Star Trek fiction because of the 50th anniversary, this is a trilogy of novels that is a self-contained adventure that you can read and appreciate without having to read all the other stuff that's come before.
And what are the
one of my favorite parts of the way the process worked this time was that the part of the story that Greg told was perfect for his voice and style. The part of the story that Mac told, again, perfect for his voice and style, and then we clean up the mess, so it worked out great.
Well, Terry, I'm thinking about it. Dave Mack is the Dementor of Star Trek universe. I'm reading the Harry Potter series for the first time, and I'm just finishing the 5th book, and I can't tell you how. I texted Terry earlier, and I was ranting about one of the characters and the growth of it, and just the depression of something that's happening, and it's just wow. But yeah, Dementors are evil beings that kill. So yeah, Dave Mack.
They take the joy right out of
Harry
you.
Potter this week too.
You what?
I said I've been working on Harry Potter this week too.
Oh, and how so?
Well, I'm under an NDA, so I can't talk about
Jesus
it.
Christ.
But I've been.
What the hell kind of a cock tease was
I
that?
know,
doing
right?
some stuff. I've been doing some stuff with Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
Oh, right on.
Now, what are the I think Terry just had a big O. ShamWow, aisle 4.
Uh-oh.
What are the publication dates for this trilogy?
The Star Trek one.
July, August, September. So they'll be.
I
in
was going to say they're
stores
July. Yeah,
late June,
there you
late
go.
July, late August.
What he
Okay.
said. Yeah. No, they'll come out
Very
the last Tuesday. Yeah, they'll come out the last Tuesday in June, July, and August. But their publication months are July, August, September. So Kevin and I are very excited about the fact that our book is the September 2016 book, the month of the 50th
The
anniversary.
month of the 50th anniversary.
So yeah,
right?
no freaking pressure, pocketbooks. Thanks a lot.
I didn't lose any sleep or wet any beds.
It's both terrifying and exciting all at the same time because, when we started doing this mumble years ago, we never really thought that we would be in a position to do something like this during the 50th anniversary. It's a lot of fun, but it's also
You are a New York Times bestselling author.
I feel the heat a little bit. It's tough. Yeah.
Now,
Well, we were talking about it with 10 years ago when the Constellations anthology was being prepped, and we were just, like, oh my gosh, I mean, are we going to come up with a story that's good enough to get picked? Are we going to do this? I mean, I just wanted to be part of the 40th, even just like a little glancing blow of it, and we were invited to take part in that, which still, the story that we came up for that one is still one of my favorite things we've ever written together to date. But then this happened, and it was like, damn.
And now you're headliners.
see, this is what happens, though. This is what happens when you're a proven clutch hitter.
I don't know about any of that, but
I mean,
Yeah.
no, I mean we've been doing it for a long time, but I mean, it didn't really crystallize for me until earlier, late last year when they revamped the Strange New Worlds contest, and I'm like, holy shit, it's been 18 years since I submitted to the first contest. Where the
been
hell
that
did
long?
the 18
Yeah.
years go?
Yeah.
So, so it's, it just strikes me. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm still getting a kick out of it. So I'll keep doing it till they throw me out of the boat, and then I'll just keep swimming until they, leave me in the ocean to die.
well, then you can do a Kickstarter to fund your Star Trek fan novels. Now, what's
Yes.
the word on your? How's the Mars Attacks book do?
I haven't heard yet. It's only been out for about 2 weeks, so it's
Wow.
not just
Is
a
that
little
it?
less than 2 weeks. It came out on the 22nd.
Why
whole
did it
thing
seem
was-
you know why? Because your Mars Attacks cards and everything. I was thinking of.
That's why, I've been
Yeah.
yammering about it for months. But I mean, I wrote it last fall. It kind of came out of the blue. I found out after I actually agreed to do it because the editor at this company, Joe Books, had approached me, and out of the blue, I mean, I had a couple of cursory conversations with him about like a year ago about another unrelated project, and he came out of the blue and asked me if I wanted to do this. It was kind of a clutch assignment, it's like short turnaround and that kind of thing, and I said sure, it sounds like a lot of fun. And I come to find out later that Bob Greenberger actually recommended me for the job. They'd
wow.
gone to him first, and apparently he couldn't do it owing to his schedule with school and teaching and everything. So he apparently gave them my name. So thank you, Bob, again for that. And I had a lot of fun writing it. It was definitely different from what I'm used to writing. I did write it in a style that makes it sort of a bastard cousin of From History Shadow, the Star Trek novel I did with the UFO lore and everything in it. So
cool.
if you squint, you can see some shared DNA in there.
Well, I'm very excited because in 3 weeks I'm interviewing Mr. Greenberger for a supplement for a Gettysburg's Address podcast.
Ah, very cool.
We're going to be talking about the comic book movies and TV shows and the evolution of them in the last several years.
He'll be a great resource for that.
I'm finally going to remember to take my Batman encyclopedia that he wrote, so I can get it signed by him, which is an amazing work.
Yeah.
Oh man, no kidding.
He did a lot of great work on that book.
Yeah, I think I got mine signed too at one point in time. He also, I believe, co-wrote the Superman encyclopedia, if I'm not mistaken.
The professor, Bob Greenberger.
I've said it before, and I mean it with all sincerity. I believe Bob Greenberger is one of the genuinely nice guys in this business. He really is. He and guys like Mike Friedman and Howie Weinstein, that old guard is what I like to call them, and I mean that with respect. They've always treated us like colleagues, and again, Bob is just a tremendous person, and he claims to be the father of my children, which is the only thing I hold against him.
I was gonna say, he's a little handsy, but he did.
He's a little handsy, yeah.
So
don't ever get in an elevator.
I won't bring it up.
But,
Well, I'll just say this: I learned that at shore leave, and I didn't mind. But you're right. He and Michael Jan Friedman, they're always there's always time at a convention. They always are they'll be late because they won't tell somebody no.
Yeah, I mean,
but I've had, in my conversations with people who have been doing this for fewer years than me, or that meet for the first time, I always do my best to conduct myself with them the way that Bob and Mike and Howie conducted themselves with me when I was first showing up at these shows. I mean, it really, like Dayton said, I mean, it was just, we walked in and they were like, hey pal, where you been? Pull up a chair. And I was like, who, me? And they just absolutely from the get-go, nothing but inclusive and supportive, and it was just fantastic.
And look at you now, Reginald Van Dilmore III.
You know they were just going to get to me, right?
Well, that's what I heard.
God.
No, they are. They're generally. We have breakfast with Howie we make it a point to have breakfast with Howie every year at Shore Leave. That's our Saturday morning. So it's that kind of thing. So
right on.
The guy that wrote for the animated Star Trek series when I was still eating Play-Doh. We're gonna have breakfast with him on Saturday. So
cool. Who else? I mean, if we're gonna give some shout outs, Kevin J. Anderson also treated us with that from the get-go for no discernible reason, and we certainly didn't earn it. I don't know that we even deserved it, but the first time we ever met him, he stood out in front of the table at which we were giving away copies of Some of the Thunder for to benefit the Browncoats, and hawked our wares for 5-10 minutes. I mean, it was just it was nuts, and so we became fast friends. And now when we are in Denver for our annual trip to Starfest, we do our best to connect with him and his wife Rebecca for dinner. That's kind of how we cap our weekend in Denver. And it's just always been gracious.
If we're going to throw around names, we don't want to tell you who sat at our booth in Vegas last year for pretty much the entire weekend. But Terry, you want to tell them who it was?
Which one of the 5 or 6 amazing people in the
the author.
I think he means Sawyer.
Yeah.
Robert J. Sawyer was there. It was pretty damn awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've never met him, but I hear he's cool.
Oh my God, he's the sweetest guy.
I've never met him, but I've heard him on a couple of other podcasts because he also has contributed to stuff like the Cyborgs podcast that I do every once in a while. And,
there was
such a genuine guy.
Go ahead, Dayton.
No, I was going to say, I hope to get to meet him one day because just from listening to him talk, he sounds like a hell of a guy.
I had to take a video of our booth last year just because for a moment in time, our booth had Robert J. Sawyer sitting at the table next to Kipley Brown, next to Vic Mignogna. Across from Vic was Al Rivera, of course, from Cryptic Studios, who was talking to Vic, and then Emo Phillips was...
Okay, now it was pretty cool, and then it went to surreal.
The only one that was missing.
Phillips is someone I've always wanted
and then
to meet.
in the
That's awesome.
way in the back,
Kevin, he's awesome.
The only
way
thing
in the
missing from
back-
that whole setup is Tim Curry dressed as the fucking clown.
That was Nick.
Well, that was Nick, who was all the way in the back giving us his I'm dead inside look.
Oh, I have perfected the greatest photobomb face you'll ever see.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying. It's
It-
absolutely terrifying.
It was compared to
The clown
Michael
runs
Myers
from
standing
Nick.
by the bushes. I totally relax every muscle in my face, and I look like that mask that Michael Myers wore.
I photoshopped your face onto a picture of a clown standing underneath like a bridge, and it said "free hugs."
Now, I will tell you, the best interview that we had was Academy Award winner Doug Drexler.
Oh, that dude is super cool, isn't he?
Oh.
He yelled at us because we tried to end the interview.
Well, his wife she goes, he can give you 5 minutes. I said,
Yes,
we'll
I had
take
asked
5
for
minutes.
5 minutes. I'd asked for 5 minutes. They gave us 5 minutes, and then he got pissed off
And then
because we went 20.
we were about 45 minutes into it, and I started to kind of try to seal it off. And he goes, "No, I'm not done yet." And I was like, "When an Academy Award winner says he's
I got
not done
shit
yet,
to say.
you just he was fucking awesome." I think we ended up with 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It was
And
insane.
finally, his wife was like, "We have to go. We
have to go."
plane."
It was totally late for their flight and everything. It
Yeah, I was
awesome.
going to say, the times that I've met him at conventions, he basically swoops in to do whatever it is he's supposed to do, and then maybe spend a couple hours on the floor being a nerd like the rest of us, and
Yeah.
then swoops out.
Yeah.
He's just he has such a tight schedule. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
know how he does it because I haven't ever actually looked it up or tried to ask him. But I mean, the dude's what, in his 60s?
Well,
Late
Dayton,
50s, early
I
60s?
asked him because the dude is jacked.
Oh, he is. He's totally
So
gunning.
he's like
man.
Jack LaLanne. So I asked him about it. I was like, I got to ask you, a guy your age. And he went through like the part of the interview. He gave us like his nutrition regimen and his workout regimen.
He's like
and
Stephen Lang, right? Try not to be Cable in the next
Yeah.
Deadpool movie.
Dead
He's like,
serious.
And he and his wife are so in love. It was he and his wife and
Well, Terry
Ter-
and Paula.
yeah, Terry and Paula, Terry Erdman and Paula
Mhm.
Block.
Yeah. No, they're all.
I'm sorry. I was looking up the word nutrition.
it's look under antonym cookie dough.
Hey, got it.
No, it's no, not the buffalo wings.
Speaking of which, Dayton, the chat room, there's some chocolate French silk pie for you.
Sweet.
Now, Kevin, what's going on in the world of Hallmark?
Well, the members of the Keepsake Ornament Club should be getting their copies of our 2016 catalog in the mail a week from Monday. I saw a early release on that because I wrote a story in that version of the catalog, interviewed a couple of the sculptors and got that in there, so they gave me a quick early release.
Did you see the typo on page 67?
Damn it! You weren't supposed to say anything yet.
Is the
If you find
urban
it, you get a
sombrero in this one?
prize. I'm sorry?
Is the urban sombrero in this one?
The urban
Urban
help me
sombrero.
out.
No,
You
but
never
the
watched
ornament-
Seinfeld?
No, I don't remember
It's
that.
been I watched it first run and never really watched it. That's digging way deep.
Yeah, Elaine put it on the cover of the J. Peterman catalog, the urban sombrero.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
No, but
I'm sorry I missed the reference.
There's a really cool Serenity ornament coming this year with Wash in his pilot seat and the Reaver spear sticking through him.
No, there is not. Shut up.
Leap
That's
on the
Well,
wind,
you know-
bitches.
Cruel.
Yeah, it's-
Too soon. Too soon.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
So, because you know how the Reavers clean their spears, right?
It all
Yes.
comes out in the
They put 'em-
wash.
They run it
Run it
through
through
the
the
Run.
wash. Through the wash. So,
Boom.
Going to hell. Going to hell.
yes. I would not be able to come up with the URL, but if you go to hallmark.com and just do a search on Justice League, you can see my latest children's book for
Nice.
Hallmark,
cool.
which is an itty bitties book. You guys are familiar with the little plush characters that we've been doing that are called itty bitties, but it's a personalized book with the Justice League of itty bitties, and you can rig it up so not only can you put your name or the name of whoever you'd like to give the book to that is supposed to be starring in the adventure with the Justice League, but you can go in and customize the art. So you can
Nice.
can customize gender, hairstyle, hair color, and skin tone, and
It's called
make it
Pooping
look
is Super.
however you want.
Wonder
Spoiler
Twin powers activate.
Well, it's funny you say that, Nick, because we don't have Wonder Twins in this one, but the outfit that the customized hero that you could be if you wanted to get in there is based on Marvin from Super Friends.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
White shirt,
I caught that,
symbol,
yeah.
Wendy and
the
Marvin,
brown
yeah.
pants. Yeah. So, I mean, he knew how to dress. He wore the brown pants.
Yeah.
Green cape.
Right.
and
And what was
mustache.
your dog's name?
It was just Wonder Dog.
Wonder Dog, that's right.
Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. So that was pretty cool. It was kind of a fun assignment because they said, okay, you've got, we need you to work in 8 heroes, 8 villains. The book stars a customized hero, so you've got to center the story around that character, and you have 19 pages, and you need to write it in verse.
Oh my gosh, how awesome.
Wow.
No problem. What
While
are we gonna do
donating
this
blood.
afternoon then? So no, it was a lot of fun, and it's actually the reviews that we're getting on it on the page. The cool part is that kids like it. I mean, we're hearing back from people who are saying that kids recognize themselves in the story with the heroes, and they're having a lot of fun with it. So
This
and
is
I've got
very cool.
Well, thanks. It's fun. I've got some other DC Comics books that are going to be coming out with Hallmark later in the year, but I don't even know if we've sent the information to retailers yet, so I don't want to talk about details. But I got some fun stuff happening. It's been a fun writing assignments lately.
The
Well, the
itty
link
bitties
to-
are so freaking cute.
The links to the itty bitties as well as the personalized book are in the chat room, and they will be in the show notes.
Now, what is
Wow,
20?
thanks.
What is 2113?
The time? It's no. I was gonna say it's only 20:45. No.
You know what, Dayton? Funny story. Today in the office, there was an event happening at 1000 hours, and the contractor read 1000 as 1 p.m., so she totally missed the event. I was like, no, that would have been 13.
How do you even do
Is
that?
that like
I don't even-
binary time?
She
1000
read it real
is 1
fast.
p.m.
Did you
She
mean
read
at
it
like
real
1
fast.
p.m. in another time zone?
She showed up with all the balloons and it's like, party, I'm here.
Where'd everybody go? I'm the first one here.
Cinderella boy.
All right. Well, anyway.
I know what I'm doing.
So, 2113, to answer your question, Nick, is an anthology of short stories that are all inspired by the music of the band Rush. And it actually was supposed to come out later this month, but it actually started, I guess, apparently went on sale today, at least on Amazon.com. And that's actually quite fortuitous because today, April 1st, marks the 40th anniversary of the release of the album 2112.
That is insane.
Okay,
I don't-
that is awesome. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Right on.
So
That is insane.
That's right, people.
I did not know that they were going to do that. My understanding was it wasn't going to be released until the middle of the month. April 12th, I think, was the scheduled release date. But they're shipping and all that today, according to Amazon, and even the ECW, the publisher, they've got it for sale off their website. So there had been this orchestrated an effort on the part of editor Kevin Anderson to try to get all the pre-orders up to a certain length so that we could all hit the bestseller list at the same time. I don't know if that happened. I don't know if going on sale early torpedoed his efforts. We'll find out here in a couple weeks, I guess, when the numbers come in. But,
Wow.
anyway, all the stories are original. They're brand new for the anthology, with the exception of a couple of stories that were reprinted. One of them is the original story that inspired the song Red Barchetta. And then there's another song that's actually, or another piece that's an older story that's also being reprinted for the first time. But the other 16 stories are all inspired by different Rush songs from across their catalog. For example, my story is based on the song Red Sector A. It's about basically the science fiction-esque story about the concentration camps. So, and
Jeez.
I'm one of the few authors who actually played more literally in terms of the inspiration from song to story. I actually wrote a story that kind of has that plot line. It's not the same. It's not exactly the song, but it's obviously inspired by that. So, it was fun. It was wonderful to be invited. Dave Mack and I each have stories in the anthology. It's a hell of a lineup of authors. There's some definitely heavy hitters on there, and it was a lot of fun. I hope the book
Did
does
either
well.
of you read the Clockwork Orange comic book that Neil wrote to go with the
Angels?
album?
Clockwork Angel.
Clockwork Angels, Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Angels.
I've read the book that Kevin Anderson wrote, and I read the comic book when it came out from is it Boom? Boom Comics put it out last year or the year before.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I have not read his sequel, Clockwork Lives, which came out earlier in the year. I have not read that. Or I'm sorry, late last year. I haven't read it yet. I have a copy of it on my to be read pile, which continues to grow every day. Apparently.
Although now I want to hear Rush playing "Singing in the Rain."
I know, right? So.
Nice pull. I like that.
So yeah, that book's on sale now, apparently today. So it'll be a busy month for me, thankfully, because of the Mars Attacks novella and this, and then I've got the Star Trek novel that's coming out later in April. So
Don't you also have the Vulcan tour book coming out as well?
I
soon?
do.
Jesus, Dayton, what
I'm
haven't
busy.
you written lately?
Well, my epitaph.
A
yet.
check to us.
Yeah, I haven't written my epitaph yet. The travel guide is for another publisher called Insight Editions, and they are the same people who published Paula and Terry's beautiful Star Trek costumes book.
That
from last
costumes
year.
book is so gorgeous.
Yeah,
Basically, this is an
fantastic.
inside the box book that is written like a travel guide to the planet Vulcan. So it covers all the places most of the places that you're familiar with from that either have been seen or referenced on screen. And then there are
Is this in official productions or also fan productions?
No, this is an official thing. It's licensed by CBS. There are a number of pulls from various sources. So if you're an old school fan, you'll recognize a couple of references from, for example, the Last Unicorn role-playing game, the Star Trek role-playing game from Last Unicorn Games. There are a few novel references in there. And then a bunch of other shit I just had to make up.
I was going to say, how much fun was that?
Well,
Just
it
make up
varied
shit.
depending on my alcohol intake. There were a few nights that were a little more stressful than others, but the fun part of the project came much later. I turned in my manuscript for this thing like last year, and then it kind of got backburnered because my editor at Inside Editions got deluged with all sorts of other crap, so I took a back seat. And then we started the art on it. So they have an art department and a graphic designer and an art director and everything at the publisher. And I started to see pages like back before Christmas where they were bringing in artists. I'm starting to put the art with my text. And some of the art will blow you away. Most of it, almost 95 to 99% of it is original for this book. There are a few pieces that are pulled from Paramount or CBS's files, and then there's even a couple of pulls from other reference books that just happen to fit what I wrote. And then there's a bunch of other crap that people just made up. But there are some gorgeous maps to the various regions that you'll visit while you're vacationing on Vulcan.
Oh my God, how awesome!
And there's all sorts of splash art to go with this, that, and there are logos and in signage to go with different restaurants or nightclubs. Or my favorite one is for a karaoke club that you'll find in the capital city. And because it looks like the IDIC symbol, the IDIC symbol.
Yeah.
But it's a microphone and sound waves coming out of the microphone, but it looks like the IDI. It's aligned so that it looks like the IDI. I literally laughed out loud and told him I want that as a sign. Huh?
What are the Vulcans going to sing?
Well,
Funeral dirges.
Just read the damn book and you'll find
Yeah, no shit.
But anyway, I got to have fun with it. It's obviously not meant to be a totally serious thing. It's like a very casual, very informal presentation.
So it's like the anti-quotable Christopher Pike.
Exactly. I was encouraged to have fun with it. In fact, I was specifically recruited because I can be irreverent at times.
No.
Never.
As a matter of fact, they had to dial me back because Van Sitters kept pushing me to go higher, and my editor was like, no, rein him back in, and we finally found a happy medium. So
Oh, good.
I'm like, well, you hired me for my sense of humor, and I've spent 48 years developing it. What the fuck? So no, it was a lot of fun.
I haven't had a chance to read anything but just a little bit, but I can tell you that there was one drive to Denver. I'm pretty sure that's where we were talking about it. That the stuff that he was rattling off to me that he was going to put in the book, I know that I slowed down on the highway because I was laughing too hard. So.
Well, what ended up happening was a lot of the little, how if you've ever bought a real travel book, like when you go overseas or you go on vacation somewhere, there's a lot of these little paragraphs that talk about this point of interest or that restaurant or that hotel or whatever. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in the book, and most of that is played pretty straight. But I have like several sidebar articles or extra pieces that are sprinkled throughout the manuscript where I get to have a little fun, like what to do if you find yourself the unwitting recipient of a Vulcan's katra. Here's the steps you have to take. And what do you do if you find yourself in a marriage ceremony? Shit like that. What to do if you're chased by a zealot, or a Lamaya. So it was fun. It's definitely fiction. Obviously it was all made up, but it was not a novel, so it was a different kind of writing, and I had a lot of fun with it. And
now, did you discuss the vampires and the
werewolves, fairies,
all of that?
pixies, brownies?
No. We talked about Vulcan teddy bears. And we talked about it was a fun. And that book is not out until July. Actually, it'll be with luck. I'll have copies for it for shore leave, and it'll be out by the time Vegas rolls around.
And what is Elusive Salvation? Aside from a really cool band name,
it's a great. It sounds like an '80s love ballad, doesn't it?
It does.
Like
George
Journey would
Michael.
have written that. That's
I
like
was
something
thinking George
Journey
Michael.
would have sang. But anyway, Elusive Salvation. That's a George Michael song. It's a sequel to a novel I wrote a few years ago called From History's Shadow.
This makes me so happy to hear.
I heard that hit the microphone. You might want to wipe that up.
Wow. Don't put us there.
It's not a straightaway sequel, but it obviously will revisit some of the themes that I did in History's Shadow. And but I didn't make it a straight sequel. I did change up the formula a little bit. I didn't want to just retread what I did in the first book. And I did all the hard part, setting up the ties between UFO lore and Cold War and all that, and Star Trek. I did that in the first book, and I had no desire to redo all that. So the story is a little more linear this time around. So it'll be out in the end of the month.
What is linear?
Linear, like straight line. But instead of it being set during the 5-year mission, this will be set during the movie era. It'll be set before Star Trek 2.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
So this is
the whole audience did the ooh
TMP uniforms and all.
It'll be closer to Star Trek 2's time frame. So it'll be the maroon cocoons.
I felt like Merv Griffin there for a minute.
The way I have it set up is that Spock is. The way it's set up is that Spock is the instructor at the
Griffin
academy.
and Jack LaLanne. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
No, Spock is an instructor at the academy, and Kirk is kind of drifting between chief of Starfleet operations and whatever other job Nagura had for him at that point in time. And so the Enterprise is a training vessel largely, but the bulk of the action that requires the Enterprise takes place close to home. And then, of course, they go gallivanting through time once again, Kirk and Spock, to do their stuff because Mr. Roberta Lincoln comes calling for help. So.
Yay!
And this, because of the time frame that I set it in, the bulk of the book, the stuff that takes place in the 20th century, is in the early to mid 1980s. So now we're at the same time frame that Greg Cox was covering with his Eugenics Wars novels, and I took great pains to make sure that we stayed in lockstep.
Oh, very cool.
That's very cool.
So it's a lot of fun for I love those two books. Those are two of my favorite Star Trek books ever.
Yeah.
So I was making every effort to be respectful of those two books because I'm a big fan and nerd of those two books. So.
A related question. So, do you think there's any fodder left over for a possible third?
Why, yes, there is. As a matter of fact.
Awesome.
We still have some threads to do. We have some knitting of the tapestry left to do so far as what happens to Majestic 12 and what it might evolve into. And what other
Section 31?
What other organizations with numbers in their descriptions might be involved? So I'm just saying, if I wrote the first book.
Maniacal laugh.
I wrote the first book not with an idea that there would be a follow-up. I wrote it to be largely a one and done because it was a pet project and it was something I'd been wanting to do for a lot of years. And they finally let me do it. And I thought, I'm not going to push my luck. I'll write it to be a self-contained story, and that'll be the end of it. And then I got asked to write the sequel or something that could follow up on the events of the book. And then, so unlike that first book, I wrote this one with the idea that if it worked, there'd be a third one. So if you get to the last line of this book and you don't want number 3, then I did not do my job right.
I want it now, and I haven't read it.
I know, me too.
I should be getting my author copies here in the next week or so I'll be sure to post pictures and links.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
No problem. Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Very cool. Awesome.
Now, this is the 50th anniversary, so you guys have been unable to say something, but you've got something pretty big in the works, correct?
We have a couple of things going on, Kevin.
Yeah.
I know we've got a magazine feature that we're going to write for somebody. right? You want to?
Yeah.
I don't know that we can speak to that directly, but
Well, I mean, I'm kind of going by what contracts and agreements we actually have in hand and which ones we don't. So I guess I could say there's two non-book, I guess, I mean,
non-pocket book,
non-pocket, that's a better way to phrase it. Yeah, two non-pocket projects that coincide with the 50th that we're working on, and actually, both of them are kind of a throwback. Well, one's kind of a throwback to what we used to do. I mean, because one's journalism, and one's just.
They're both bucket list items. One is a bucket list item because it's writing for a genre magazine that I can't name, but I mean, people who are savvy in this stuff might figure it out given enough time. But it's a genre magazine that's been around for a long time, and you buy it when you were a kid, and now you have a chance to write for it, and you go, hell yeah, I want to write for you guys. So we're going to do that. And then the other thing is definitely a bucket list item, and can't even provide a hint on that one because it's just. But if it goes down the way it's gone down, if it goes down consistently with what we've been talking about, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun for us. If you guys have fun with it, that's great.
Yeah,
we don't really care.
We don't really care about you.
We're going to be too busy having too much fun with it.
I mean, if this will be what we used to call in the newspaper days a 72-point type announcement. I mean, you will hear me yell it if it comes to pass.
Well, it's not just the fact that we're going to get to do something on this particular stage, but how we're going to be able to do it. I know we're being vague on purpose, but trust me, it will be. If you're a longtime Star Trek fan going back decades, you're going to love this. At least you're going to love our enthusiasm for it. Now, whether it ends up sucking, different story. I can't tell you.
I was going to say, if nothing else, we promise to pour everything that we enjoy about Star Trek into this particular project, and it'll be a lot of fun.
But that's just the stuff that we can't really talk about yet.
Well, I will keep my fingers crossed for you that everything goes the way you want.
But that's not what Nick wanted. He wants the other thing.
No, he wants
the thing. He wants the thing
you
that
changed
we said we can talk
picture.
about.
The thing you changed your profile picture.
All right. Well, here's the deal, because we can only talk about this today. Basically, Kevin and I
we can only start talking about it today.
We can only start talking about it today.
Okay. I was going to say, if you say you only can talk about it today, and today is April 1st, my little...
No.
I will give you
and this is something that we actually, it's like when... Well, he'll explain it, but there's a number of different entities that all had to kind of line up to make this happen. And for the, the various different licensing stuff that we had to kind of patch together, we had to wait for the last person to say, okay, yes.
There are a lot of moving parts.
So it's like, do it on a Friday. It's like, okay, so we'll do it on a Friday. We signed off and stuff, so.
Well,
okay.
I mean, it's a weird thing because it's definitely a 50th anniversary kind of thing. It's something you could only probably pull off during the 50th anniversary. And one of the reasons that we're doing it is because of the way that Star Trek basically has woven itself in and out of our collective, consciousness all these decades. I mean, it's everywhere, right? It's nobody knows. Everybody knows what you're talking about when you say something like I'm moving at warp speed or put the shields up or this place sucks, beam me out of here, that kind of. I mean, we all know it's. You can walk up to any random person on the street and you can show them a picture of the Enterprise or Captain Kirk or Spock and they know what you're talking about.
Or
right?
say beam me up, Scotty, and they'll go.
All this stuff is it's just ingrained in our DNA, in our consciousness,
and internationally so.
Yeah, it's global. I mean, so part of the 50th anniversary is that, and particularly the original series, is that one character. It's going to be a very special story about one character's journey, and it's not just through Star Trek, but through our history as well. It's not just what you see on the screen, but how it interweaves with what we have accomplished. How Star Trek, how history and fact has informed the stories that we have written over the years, and how the stories we write might inspire the history that we have not yet written. It's really cool. What's that?
I was going to ask, is it a biography of the Tribble?
Well, I mean, no. we actually were asked, which character would be the one to do this? And of course, we talked about it, and there's really only one character that you can do this with, and it's the one that's been there from the beginning. Mr. Spock. He's been there from day one, and he guides us through all the different iterations of Star Trek. And then once we decided on the topic, and then we decided on the story, then the last wrinkle came in, which was to set this thing to music.
What?
What?
Yeah. it's going to be a musical.
Wait, what?
Well, see, now that part of it, I'm going to take a little bit of blame for that part of it as we were brainstorming out. I mean, this is something Dayton obviously knows, but you guys, we don't talk about it much. But my daughter and I have shared a lot of musical stuff from, since we were growing up. I mean, I introduced her to the stuff I was listening to. She's a huge Beatles fan, for one, but she also kind of got into music that I listened to. She's a music performance and music education double major in college. And so now she's actually learning about music and and the kind of stuff that I never understood. I mean, as a list, it's like the difference between being a reader and a writer, the difference between being a listener and actually understanding the stuff that people get into doing. It's not anything that I can explore on the Hallmark side. And so that's where things kind of lit up for me, was listening to the way that Colleen will talk about music and the fact that and she thinks classically, which is kind of interesting because I'll catch her whistling and all of a sudden it's like Holst, when I thought she should be whistling in One Direction or something. So that's where part of the of the thing, like, hey, you know what? It's the 50th. I mean, what if we just throw a little bit of a curve? But I think we're the right people to do it, and so that's the direction we went. And
now, when you say
lent me a lot of insight and a lot of support.
When you say a musical, do you mean like a cast singing, or like the movie Heavy Metal, where you're using music as the soundtrack?
Oh, now that would be cool. Well, actually, and that's where some of the licensing stuff came in, was because it's not so much that we are that we're just having kind of be concurrent in the background. We're trying to curate some of these songs from our past, from Star Trek's 50 years, that kind of coexisted in popular culture and help match and repurpose some of these to that can kind of tell the underlying story.
Oh, how cool!
Of Spock's journey that we're trying to do.
It'll be a little bit of both. There'll be incidental music that's orchestrated, and then there'll be songs from different bands from across Star Trek's.
And that's what the licensing was for?
That's what all the licensing was for, because we had to everything had to be negotiated individually with each band and their management or their record label, depending on what the song was.
Yeah, and that's and again, like I said, just weird stuff kind of coming up. The fact that I was with my background with Star Trek Communicator, there's during the anniversary issue of the Communicator and during some other anniversary stuff that we did during my 8 years there. One of the things that they assigned me to do was that, hey, here are people that we know are big Star Trek fans, and and can you help us try to get comments and things like that? So we had CBS keeps this master list. If somebody drops, in an interview somewhere, like, oh yeah, I've loved Star Trek since I was a kid. Well, every time that happened, they would write that down and hang on to it. I mean, like when I worked on stuff for the Communicator and we got a hold of this list, I emailed the Dalai Lama's office and actually got a reply. I got to interview. I did. It wasn't from him, the Dalai Lama himself, but it was from his office. I know, striking.
I'm not going to give you an interview, but on your deathbed, you will achieve total consciousness.
So you got that going for you.
You got that going for me.
But no, I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, when you see that pop up in your email, it is a little sobering. Corbin
is it
Burnson
like Dolly@llama.com, or what is that?
I would have to look up. I've got the email in my notes. I would have to look up what it is. I don't think
Llama, d@ollielama.com or something.
He's on AOL and it's all in all caps.
I connected to him through his MySpace page.
He's like an old Prodigy account, GR759X.
Yeah. I mean, I keep telling him that you ought to move on from CompuServe, but he's the Dalai Lama. What are you going to do? But Corbin Burnson, that's how I got a chance to meet him and talk to him, because he's a big fan, and he ended up being on the show. Jason Alexander, big fan, who ended up being on the show. Let's see,
Nick Fleetwood.
Yes. Well, there you go. I mean, so there's that's absolutely the when the music stuff started showing up on this list, we were like, well, it just felt like it was just all kind of flowing together too easily.
Now, are you allowed to name any of the bands or songs?
Well, I mean,
I think so.
by virtue of the fact that it's bands from before. I mean, it's an interesting cross section of music. In addition, like I said, it's orchestrated. We're going to have orchestrated music, so you'll have some of that Star Trek flavor. But some of the bands who will be represented will be Journey, the Scorpions, Europe, Boston.
Europe.
Yeah, the Cult.
Such as Boston exists these days, but yeah.
Here's one that you probably wouldn't expect to get, but the little deal in my avatar should have given it away. Rush and Steel Panther.
No lie.
Would I lie?
Well, and we've got
You would totally pull my leg,
stuff,
Dayton.
like,
yes, if it's for
Terry-
right purposes, yes.
Well, I mean, all right.
I can tell you now, Dayton. Go ahead, Kevin.
Go ahead.
One of the ones that I lobbied for is we're looking at places in Spock's life that it's just funny when you said earlier, I had to kind of bite my tongue when he was like, what do Vulcans sing about? Well, the interesting thing is that there are moments in Spock's life where his emotions were compromised that allow him to kind of dig into the musical part of it. I mean, we know he's a musician at heart because we've seen him play his
Vulcan
the
lyre.
instrument and exactly. Thank you. So there was when we were looking at This Side of Paradise, I thought, well, crap, how can we not do Layla? Because it's Layla Kalani. And, I thought, okay, well then, and then all of a sudden, some of these ideas were kind of happening.
Right. Dayton, I got the email you sent me with the artwork. Do you want to tell them the title so that I can post the art?
It's a preliminary piece. It's a preliminary piece of artwork. It's just something that was thrown together.
Kind of like a placeholder?
It's a placeholder, yeah. It's definitely not meant to be the final cover. It will never be the final artwork, but it's enough to convey, there you go, Spock of Ages.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this.
Now,
This
is it Fire Woman from the Cult, or what do you got there? She sells Sanctuary? Because I love the Cult.
It's Fire Woman. That's one of the songs we lobbied for.
Nice. That's very fitting for Vulcan.
Yes, exactly.
Fire Cave Woman, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So is this what? How can we see this or hear this or experience this? What's the game plan? Do you know yet?
To be honest, it's something we're still trying to shake out. On one hand, would it be fun to try to get this in the hands of people as an audio only? I mean, is it something that we're trying to figure out more of a like a throwback old rock videos kind of approach? Is it something that feels a little bit like a stage play that is the live action Peter Pan or Sound of Music or stuff that part? I mean, the visual interpretation of it is we're still trying to figure out what we think is a better fit. It could end up being a mishmash of all of those.
Now, I'm looking at the artwork here. I can't help but notice that Spock kind of looks there like from Let This Be Your Last Battlefield, with the black and the white. Or is that just me overlooking it?
I think you might be reading too much.
Okay, I had to ask. Because this is kind of mind-blowing.
And once
my
again,
brain exploded.
I was going to say, and once again, for people who popped in, because we picked up a few listeners, is it's not an April Fool's joke, correct?
No, that's not correct.
Of course.
Months of planning!
Assholes.
I didn't even get to the lyrics of my songs.
Months of planning!
Oh, sorry, Kevin.
I hate you all.
We lobbied for the Scorpions because I've written Spock and
When you
Kirk
said
take
Steel
on
Panther,
Trelane.
I just went, wait.
Yeah, the minute you said Boston is when I knew.
And I'm talking to Nick. I'm going, I can't believe they're buying this. This is the most crock of shit I've ever come up with.
You don't know the planning that has gone into this.
I'm sitting here going, really? I mean, the whole part about that Kevin was talking about, talking to the Dalai Lama, I'm like, they're gonna, sooner or later, they've got to realize.
Well, actually, that part's true.
I was literally thinking about walking away from this and not saying anything.
I'm so glad I pushed a talk during all of this. Now, you guys don't realize.
Hang on. Now,
this is
I'm
not
having
the
my
first
jolly. No, I'm just going to eat in your ear now.
This is not the first piece of artwork Dayton has come up with. For
That is fucking hilarious. The only thing I was like reading it, I'm going, God damn it, that was on the internet this morning. Oh,
okay.
Fucking A.
The artwork that is there, though, the Spock artwork with the Delta Shield, that was drawn by Aaron Harvey, who is the art director over at Trek FM. he helped me with that one. He did that for me as a favor. So thank you, Aaron, for that, because that is absolutely. We've talked about this all day. I think he's going to try to make this available as a shirt for T Fury or Redbubble or one of those places. The Spock Starman guy. I told him I wanted it tattooed on my thigh. It was that cool.
Oh, what is that?
Now,
That
bear in
Mike
mind.
says he's
Too funny.
quitting. Mike says he's quitting.
I want to be absolutely crystal clear on this. This was Nick's idea.
Fucking bullshit. This bullshit. This was me and Dayton at 2 a.m. with Dayton drunk. Where this
That's
came to be.
hilarious.
But I, as we went on, and he kept telling me he's talking to you guys on the GNT on Sunday. He's like, he told you that he wanted to have us on April Fools, and I'm like, I haven't spoken to these guys about any of this. You understand
That's
that,
so
right?
funny.
I haven't talked to Terry. I haven't talked to Mike. I have not yet been put in a position where I have to lie to them.
Well, Kevin, when Mike was helping you set up the TeamSpeak, was it last
was
week,
Kevin.
Mike?
Yeah.
Yes.
That kind of sold him that this was real.
I
I'm
told Nick
sorry,
the other
Mike.
night. I said,
I was playing you like a flute, man.
I told Nick.
And I didn't even know about that, Mike.
I told Nick that I was like, I have not yet been in a position where I had to make the choice to lie to one of those two people yet, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off.
All I said was that I was still under NDAs and we couldn't talk about things, but I'm still, yeah. So I don't think I really lied, but I probably wasn't very nice, and you were very kind to help me, and I apologize.
You're such a dick, man. No.
Can I at least share the? I was afraid you guys were going to start asking me about the song, so I actually wrote lyrics to one.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god.
See,
Wow, you
Don't
really
blame
went
me.
all
Kevin
in
was
on this
lyrics.
prank. Wow.
Oh my God.
For Galileo 7,
I
we were
can't.
able
Oh, this
to
this
acquire.
makes it that much more awesome. It really.
We
does.
were able to acquire the rights to Norman Greenbaum's "Spirit in the Sky." So,
right.
so
Awesome.
the song that we were going to do for that is called "Signal in the Sky." And I'm not a singer, but you know the song "Spirit in the Sky," right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes.
So, gonna hook us up for a signal in the sky, gonna burn bright where we fly. Before we die and we burn up the ship, gonna show up in the sensors like a blip.
Okay.
It's poetical.
Anyway,
Thanks very much. Yeah, I tried that. I also, we acquired for Star Trek II, we were able to acquire "Without You" by Harry Nilsson, which is a very moving song. I don't know if you know the "Can't Live If Living's Not
Sure.
Without You" from Harry Nilsson. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So that one was called "Without Fuel." And it goes, "Oh, I know the ship is slowing and the proto matter's growing and old Khan is stabbing us from Hades' heart. So I'll give this
Holy
starship's
God.
core a cold restart and depart because we can't live if living is without fuel." So
Oh,
I was pretty excited about that.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
I am
our-
utterly moved.
Yeah, our REO Speedwagon song was actually for Star Trek 6. Instead of "Keep on Running," it's called "Klingons Bummin'." So if you get to the chorus, "Klingons bummin', oh, because they don't have no praxis." I was pretty excited about that one.
I'll
So,
get
Terry,
it back.
Dayton,
I'm just no.
Dayton has been sending me artwork for weeks now.
God damn it. Go on.
You know what?
Don't
We need to have a Kickstarter to put this show on one night only. That's all I'm saying.
The reason that the artwork is what it looks like now, and believe me, I'm in love with this piece of artwork.
Yeah.
I've been singing Aaron's praises to him all day, and I've been waiting to get this part
That's
over with so
fucking
that we
awesome.
can have fun with the
Unbelievable.
freaking piece of art. He came to me last night. Just I don't even remember what tripped the conversation, but he reached out to me last night and asked me, "Hey, did you ever do that thing you were trying to do for April Fools? Do you still need help?" And I almost begged off on it, but then I guess he managed to convince me to come over to the dark side, and so I gave him my basic idea, and
Yeah,
he went
okay,
right
Kylo
to
Ren.
he went right to work and gave me a preliminary one within like 30 minutes, and I'm like, "Okay, dude, if you really want to do this, let's go for broke." And then I got an iMessage from him like at 1:30 this morning saying that, hey, my partner told me that there's like 7 or 8 things wrong with this, so I'm going to fix it and give you a new version this morning. And so I get the thing when I wake up. I'm getting the kids ready for school, and this piece of art flies through into my instant message filter. I'm like, oh my God, that is absolutely perfect. They're going to fucking kill us. I've been waiting all day for this.
That's so yeah, that was.
I do love that. I mean,
I love. I did.
I swear to
could have
God,
been worse.
I was sure you guys weren't going to buy this. I was like, I'm listening to Kevin talk, and I'm listening to you guys. I'm typing to Nick over here, going, I can't believe they're fucking buying this. This is ridiculous.
Fuck you.
That's what I was waiting for. That's
what I wanted to hear.
You know what?
Well,
this is so crazy. It's just, it might actually
right?
work.
I know, right? But I know.
The
Now, I
only
just
thing
tweeted
that
the
would have made it
artwork.
better is if we could have got JVC involved.
I just tweeted the artwork. And Marco Price puts in there, song number 47 is going to be a Tribble singing trollololololo.
Whoa. Hey, let's not go crazy.
Man, they're gonna hate us. I warned Nick. I said, you understand that I have not yet been in a position where I have to lie to these people. You have been lying to their faces for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah,
Not to their faces, to their ears.
Worse yet.
To their
Doesn't matter.
IMs. To our
There's always
IMs.
Vegas.
I
There's
warned
always
him. I
Vegas.
said, remember, Mike and Terry love me. They can't stand you.
I know. Remember, this was your idea, Ward, and I have the screenshots to prove it.
Oh, I know.
If I've learned anything from what's been going on lately, it's screenshots.
You mean I'm not the only one who keeps screenshot archives?
I don't even
for
know,
his
to be
ideas?
honest. I know that you and I talked about it, but I don't remember how it morphed into all of this. Because it's one of our.
You
Nick,
came
for
up
those-
with Spock of Ages, and
Well,
I
I
said,
know, but that was like.
and then I said, let's do a supplemental log on it as a
That's
joke.
what it was.
And then it turned, and then you said, "What about April Fools?" And I,
Okay.
being the minion that I am, said, "Oh yeah."
No,
Oh my God.
I
think
demand chain of custody on all of this
The idea was I was going to make a. I think the original idea was I was going to make a blog post out of it or something. I was going to put it on my blog and all that.
Well, you
And then-
had me until Steel Panther.
Well, yeah, I can't believe you got that far, to be honest.
Well, yeah, you know what? You know what? I was kind of. I have to say I was a bit skeptical, but I was also thinking how fun it would be. Something interesting. It would have been fun.
Different. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mike was totally. Mike was a fish.
Yeah.
He was on the hook.
I feel
Although
like you take
I would have
partial
had to say-
responsibility for that. I apologize.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I want autographed books, guys. Autographed
we
books.
will hook you up. We will hook you up. I'll tell you what. I will hook you up. I will make you the
Okay,
Justice
hey,
League book. How's
here we
that?
go. Here we
It's
go.
okay.
Here we go.
It's okay.
I went and found I found the conversation. The proof is right here. How would you feel about me starting up a live supplemental log with you for the first, and you can announce you are retiring from writing? That was how it started.
Oh, wow.
And then I said, announce a traveling Star Trek skating show, Spock's Brain on
I
Ice.
forgot about that.
that's
Spock's
fucking
brain on ice.
awesome.
And then we can, yeah.
That's right, because you had Spock's brain on ice.
Oh,
And
no.
even I said they wouldn't fall for that.
And then then he counters with, how about you and Kevin have a falling out? Like, I'm a fucking control freak, and he's a lazy asshole, which, by the way, is true, but we still
It's
love
all
each other.
true. It's all true.
No, but Nick said to Kevin's defense, I don't think they'd believe that. But getting the idea to do Spock's Brain on Ice, the musical, that was Nick. And then I said, there you go.
You said
And then-
Spock's brain on ice.
I said Spock's Brain on Ice, and then you said the musical because you just have to always one-up me, motherfucker. And then I can have JVC tell Terry he's so excited to hear the announcement break on our show that he wants it to be a surprise just for her. That's what I'm reading it right here in the transcript. And I'm the one who started shit with, like, featuring all new songs by Pat Benatar, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Kanye West, with Brian
Listen, I'm just a
Boitano
giant here.
with Brian Boitano as Kirk. And then I came up with the title Spock of Ages, and Nick's like, there it is, we win.
That was it. That
Now we
was
can
it.
use 80s
That,
bands.
ladies and gentlemen, is how you work with somebody to create something
That's
fucking
was
awesome.
exactly
This
right.
is deviousness
That's how it
at
works.
work, people.
This started at like what
It's
night? What time was it?
transformative too.
Yes, it is. In improv,
right.
they call that the yes and strategy. There's no bad ideas. You throw out one, yes, and it could be this, and it
Yep.
could be this.
Yep.
This is how far back this goes. This conversation started at 9:55 p.m. my time on February 29th.
My God, I
In
hate you all so much.
1947, it was even before you were born.
Yeah. So let it be known that Nick put the idea in my head, and I, as a child, could not resist.
You know, he
Went
was
back
sitting
in
at home in
time.
his easy chair, just thinking about this over and over.
Cheetos in
And-
my
and I-
pubic hair.
You've been
that's right.
abusing the Guardian to the Gate forever for this.
But once I,
think
locked
that
in on
I got
Spock of
notified
Ages,
pretty
it was over.
quickly too.
It's okay. Tomorrow I will spoil book 6 for Nick.
Once I came up with Spock of Ages, it was over. I could not do it.
Oh yeah, no, your original artwork was hilarious.
Oh,
Didn't
it was
have
so
the Guardian?
cheesy and bad. It was so cheesy. It
Yeah.
was like Spock. It was a shot of Spock with his Vulcan harp, and then but
You gotta
then
share it now.
but I had always wanted to do what we got, which was the Spock is the Starman. That was my original idea, but I just
Oh
sucked at the art.
man.
So I had originally pinged Aaron about a commission a month ago, and then I just got lost in doing other stuff.
Oh,
and
that's
then,
hilarious.
but thank God he reached out to me last night because that, like I said,
It's
take
perfect.
away all the bullshit that we did. That is still an awesome design.
It really
I-
is.
I would buy that on a T-shirt in a hot minute.
Oh yeah, me too.
I want it for
And
shore
as
leave.
I
I
was-
want it for Vegas. I want it for everywhere. The only thing that I regret is that we didn't come up with the idea in time for him to put it in the T-shirt contest over on
No kidding.
WeLoveFine.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we would have then started a grassroots campaign to get the damn thing to win. But,
And the musical Maid.
so anyway, that
Rock
yeah,
opera. I demand one.
was-
Is it wrong that I still want this project to happen?
Shut up and take my money.
Bless-
Well, now that I posted
Bless
it, let's
you,
see
sir.
if I can get somebody from CBS to take notice. We'll see. I mean, they'll either think it's a great idea or they will forever block me from doing anything.
You'll
That's
get
a win for the
sued.
fans. So.
And there you have it, the folks, the G&T show. We risk careers every day.
So anyway, sorry for those of you who actually got sucked in by that.
Well, there
Well,
were a
no,
few.
you're
There
not.
were a
It
few.
was
There was a
awesome.
few there was a few people in the chat room who admitted they got sucked into. So whatever.
I just figured, okay, by the end of the day, people are tired of April Fool's bullshit, and we'll be able to slide one last one in.
And did you
Yeah.
notice today, Terry, Dayton Facebook, how he doesn't like
I fed counter
April
know.
Fool's jokes?
Yes.
I fed counter intel the other way. I don't really
Yeah.
like April Fool's jokes.
Yeah. Well,
As soon as he posted that, I messaged him. I was like, nice counter intel.
Well done, sirs. Well done.
Well, my thing is, I like April Fool's jokes if they're well executed. Like, I love the Think Geek stuff. I love all the stuff they do every year. I like the jokes that are this stuff we all can laugh at. It's not
Well-
somebody gets targeted and they're the butt of the joke
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. I don't
Yeah,
Well,
or
About 3 years ago, our Sunday show was on in April 1st. And I came on and said that I had to leave because I was deploying. And Mike started to get teary-eyed and Terry got all sad. And then I was like, what's today's date? And they were like, you fucker.
Yeah, that was a dick move.
hmm
I had somebody yell at me for Hallmark's April Fool's joke. We posted on Facebook this morning. We were starting something called Pup Postage, where you can ask to get somebody's birthday card delivered by a golden retriever or a puppy or something. And they had a picture. I know, and everybody thought it was great. And they click on it, says, "Oh, April Fools," and it's like, "Fuck you, Hallmark." That was.
You have to make this happen.
Whoa.
Jeez.
I know. I thought it was.
Why
I
do
thought it
so
was
many of the
pretty
best
fun
ideas come across as April Fool's jokes and not real products?
Well, I mean, the thing,
That's a great question.
I don't know. John Fraser at Think Geek actually reached out to Kevin and me a while back and solicited our ideas for April Fool's stuff. None of our
Oh,
stuff
wow.
made the cut, but one of the ones that I was particularly tickled with, and I kind of hoped that they would go with it, is a Fitness Pal, like a Fitbit, but it's shaped like the Agonizer from the Mirror Mirror episode and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Oh,
if,
right on.
if you don't hit your step count for the day, you get the Agonizer shock. So that, I don't know, that was particularly cruel that I wish we had done that. So anyway, I'm holding out for next year. So
I forget who it it might be the Washington Post. I'm trying to remember, but they had a continually updating story, all of the fake products and things that people were putting out. I mean, the majority of it was tongue in cheek, fun stuff. But then there were some people who were putting out fake news stories that the Post was trying very hard to debunk. I got suckered in by one of them. There was somebody who had said that there had been a volcanic eruption in Hawaii, and they were evacuating towns, and they had some photos that looked real enough. I was like, "Oh my God, really?" And yeah, that was the only one that hooked me in today.
I get hooked at least once a week by Duffel Blog.
Oh God, I love the Duffel Blog. I still love the Duffel Blog.
Geek Filter in the chat room says there should be an EMH Fitbit. So
Yes.
like, the hollow emitter.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Geek Filter is Aaron. I thought I saw him message something earlier that indicated that he was Aaron. But if that is
cool.
true, thank you again, dude. I owe you huge for that. And there's a big goodie box coming your way.
That was awesome. It's been awesome.
You pointed that this was my idea, so what do I get? Killed in another book?
Yeah.
You're gonna get a big fat kick in the
Actually, you know what? That's right. You're in the book, dude.
I was
You're
going to say
in the
he's
50th,
in the book.
and you live.
Oh. Yeah, but in the end, I'm dead. But I can't.
We all
You know
die.
what? Hold on. I can't complain because I died by Romulans.
Too
So
bad
that's
he won't
like
live.
the coolest.
Yeah. Too bad he
What-
won't live. But then again, who does?
Who then?
You're welcome. Even Kirk died. I had a better death than Kirk.
This is true.
This is true, huh?
So did you, Terry.
So quit
You
your
fell down an
whining.
elevator shaft.
Stop your whining.
Yeah, if I'm
Kevin's
gonna
always
go
been my
out like
favorite.
LA Law, lovely.
So anyway, there you go. That was all Nick's idea.
Oh my God, that was hilarious, you guys! Congratulations again. I've been sitting here going, I admit it. They had me until right about here. It was shit.
I even
Not
heard.
Mike.
I even heard the skepticism come through. Like Steel Panther, really? What the fuck? That's why I was weighing whether or not I wanted to say it out loud. But I like.
It
nah,
was-
No, that was good. I mean,
to be honest, it was dragging on, and I'm thinking, okay, Steel Panther will be the tipping point. They'll know we're full of shit when I say Steel Panther, and then you guys kept going.
Mike had his
I was
nose
sitting.
1
No,
inch from his
I was sitting
computer
there
monitor.
going, the fuckers.
I'm telling Nick over Twitter. I'm telling Nick over Facebook Messenger. We need to put them out of their misery. This is getting ridiculous. I can't keep making up shit.
And just
Well,
as,
as-
I,
as-
said,
and as
just
we
as
were
I said,
continuing-
yeah, we need to. That's when Terry said, "Is this a joke?"
Terry gave the perfect setup question.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah.
But the
It
best
was-
was you said no, and I could tell she was confused. No, it's not
No.
a joke, or no, it is a joke.
No, I was sitting there going, no, you have no idea. I was sitting here just, my eyes
give it the
closed,
look?
my head was just going back and forth, and I was just thinking, you motherfucker, you
Were you giving the
motherfucker.
look that you give me normally about Saturday afternoon at the Vegas Con?
Yeah.
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 Well,
I was-
as we continued going, it was fun. I was about halfway on my drive home from work and went, oh shit! If this goes far enough along that they ask us about a specific song, do I need to have some lyrics?
Oh,
And so I wrote 2 songs worth of lyrics
God,
on the
Kevin,
drive
that's awesome.
home.
That's
And I thought,
Wow.
okay, we're gonna be
brother.
fine. We're gonna be
Bravo.
fine. And then
Bravo.
I thought, oh crap, it's gonna. I mean, I'm glad I did this. I think I'm gonna have to dust these off.
Now, I was going to say it would be easy for people to take issue with us that we kind of took you for a ride a little bit, but look at the effort that we put out
yes.
to fuck with you.
Yes, that was awesome.
Which is
It wasn't
why
just
I just
half-assed.
put on
It's from a
Facebook, you
place of
cared
love.
enough about
We
me to string me along like that. That's
we
very
didn't
sweet.
just fuck you part way. We went all the way in, balls deep on this.
Ooh.
Try. Try.
Oh my!
Oh,
I have a
yes.
picture of Dayton's face as this was going on.
I don't even want to know what that means.
I'm getting
No,
ready
you
to
don't.
post it.
If you guys go to STLV, you guys are gonna have to sing the songs for us. You're gonna have to put on a Spock of
No,
Ages.
but here's my
Just
what,
for
I'm, what
us.
I'm hoping is that we can get the actual T-shirt made with the Spock logo and the Delta shield, and not anger the license holders. Hopefully, it can be done as a T Fury thing or something, and they'll let it slide because they seem to let stuff slide on T Fury. And those
Here
folks
was
are like,
Dayton during the.
that was me. Oh man.
Too funny.
Well, for one thing, that guy
Ooh.
has a way better beard than I've ever been able to grow. So.
You know what? That's angry. That Terry,
That's
is that
Rasputin.
Snape?
That's
No.
Rasputin.
Yeah.
Looks like Snape after a 4-day bender.
Oh my God. Well,
But yes,
You
as the
guys,
plan still is
so
in
funny.
play, we're still hoping to attend Las Vegas.
okay. Well, we hope you do too. We will
We're
be there.
working out the logistics of that. as we
Excellent.
speak.
Excellent. As are we. We still got a few more things to figure out, but we're set in stone at least for the booth. So we'll be there. We would like to be able to see you there.
She keeps clearing her throat.
I'm sorry. It was the gummy bear that I almost. So I had the. No, I went.
Did you
straight to
aspirate a
stress
gummy
eating.
bear?
I went straight to stress eating, man. But no. What? People in the chat room? Oh my goodness. So before we wrap up, there's
And by the
actually
way,
a couple of questions
everything
I
up
really
to
do
that
want to
point-
ask. What was that, Nick?
Everything up to that point was legit.
Yeah.
That's true. The only thing that we didn't, the only thing that was BS was the musical. Everything else
Yeah.
that we're talking about, including the stuff that we have not been able to announce, is real, and it's going to be fun.
And I am excited to hear about it, the other things that you were talking about that you are correct under NDA that you are not talking about.
It's not so much NDA; it's just that we haven't actually gotten one, we haven't gotten a contract, and then for the other, we actually haven't gotten the green light to even say there's a contract coming.
Okay.
The other one, at least, we've gotten a go ahead and we've got a due date. The contract's just not arrived yet. The other one is we've gotten a go ahead for what we pitched. We're just waiting for them to give us direction on when and that sort of thing.
Cool.
I guess I won't cancel my pre-order of Elusive Shadow.
One of the things I did want to ask you guys,
Salvation, excuse me.
One of what my question to you guys is, because you mentioned it earlier, is really how did Starfest go?
Oh, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. We always have fun there.
I know.
It's one of our very
always
favorite
fun.
shows to go. The people, the convention promoter and the staff and the people that we know that we see every year, they're always great. They treat us fantastic. They treat us like members of their own family. And
yeah, and we made new friends, which
we always-
Authors Alley, the way it was set up this year, allowed us to face each other rather than just kind of be along one strip. So, and there were some
that's cool.
new people or some. There's one writer who was there for her second year. I think it was her second, and maybe it was her third, and some other people. So yeah, we kind of made some new pals, saw some old ones. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Now, was it in a new location this year?
it was in a different location. It was actually in the hotel that they used to do it at before they got too big for that venue, and moved over to a different hotel. But the hotel that they've been in all the years that we had been going is under renovation.
Oh.
And so their convention space and a lot of their rooms were they were not available, because of the renovation. So they had to, for 1 year only, move to this different venue, which for them, it was old place. Everybody had, most of the people who've been working on the convention were familiar with that venue. It was just new for us.
But yeah, it was just, in a weird coincidence, the first year in their new venue, or their latest venue, was the first year we ever went to Starfest. So when even though this is our 14th consecutive year that we've attended, it was the first time we'd been at that location. All of our friends who were organizing the con, it was like they were coming, it's like, oh, I remember this. Well, hell, we didn't know any of it. And so even though we'd been there with them for so many years by now, it was all fresh to us.
Cool.
It was fun. It's a great. It's definitely not a huge show in terms of the people. I want to say I think they come in somewhere in the neighborhood of between 5,000 and 8,000 people for the weekend. But everybody knows everybody, or at least the bulk of the people seem to know everybody. So it's as much reunion as it is convention, and there's a lot going on.
Nice.
It's a multi-track convention, so there's always something going on somewhere.
That atmosphere is like
it's like shore leave.
Shore leave, yeah.
It's exactly like the atmosphere is very similar. It's the same type of people that put it together. It's the same mentality in terms of how the people who buy the tickets are treated, which is, they go out of their way to make sure that you're getting your money's worth for that ticket price that you paid. And I hear very few complaints from people who run into an issue that's not either it's, if there is an issue, it's addressed to their satisfaction quickly and everybody's happy. And then but more often than not, they don't have any major hitches at all. It's like a big family run thing.
What's funny about shore leave is one of the things that is the only complaint that people have is also one of the best parts, and that's the bar area, how small it is. But you're kind of forced to meet new people and mingle and do all of that. If I'm not there to save a table and say, hey, this is for the writers. It's for the writers.
The what? The who? Yeah, fuck those guys.
Fuck
No,
them.
it's they're Shore Leave and Starfest are they share a lot of the same DNA. It's that, and I love that level show. Those are the fun shows because you get lost in stuff like San Diego or even Las Vegas.
Right.
It's easy to get lost in the crowd. There's just so much going on and so many people in such a space. You just tend to get kind of you're just gone. Whereas with something like Shore Leave or Starfest or even smaller cons, you've got time to hang out with friends and catch up and go get a meal and go get a beer or whatever. It's a lot of fun. It usually is the very first show that we commit to every year before we look at anything else that might be a conflict.
Now, do you guys share a room?
It depends.
More than a room.
I was going to say, I have this image of you two in the long dressing gowns with the caps, with the feet sticking out from under the blankets.
Yeah, and
Doing
he
each other's
starts to
nails.
snore, and I finish it just like the Three
Yeah.
Stooges.
The tip of the hat is going up and down and up and down.
So no, we do share accommodations generally when we travel together because it takes. Well, the conventions are kind enough to offer some accommodations or they pay our way. Not all of them, but every convention makes different offers to different people. And when someone makes us an offer of something, we're not standing there with our hands out. It's like, hey, you know what? We can save you some money if we just bunk together. So
Yeah, but you make up for that in the free vodka.
Exactly.
Well,
we get them back at the bar. I get them back at the buffet.
We're courteous to each other. I mean, there's sometimes we use the bathroom in the lobby.
Oh, God.
But I mean, for Starfest in particular always takes really good care of us.
Salad
Starfest always covers our hotel expenses when we go out there.
That's sweet.
And that includes the nights that we get out there that aren't actually part of the convention. Like, Kevin and I will drive out on a Thursday, and the show doesn't start till Friday, but they'll cover our room on Thursday night and Sunday night because we'll leave on Monday morning.
That's cool.
And then if I come out, if on the years that I brought my family out, they will. I've even though I insist, you're not paying for my family to be at the convention, they will pay the room. They will cover the room for me and my family and Kevin too.
Yeah, this year we stayed off site and
they reimbursed Kevin. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I used the
show.
hotel we stayed at is in the same loyalty program as the hotels that are on the Hallmark property. So I get some pretty good deals with points and stuff. So I was able to work a hell of a deal for us for the 4 nights that we were there. And they were like, well, why did you use your personal points for this when you knew that we would help you out? And I was like, because why wouldn't I? That's where we just have each other's backs on that kind of thing. So
But
it was very nice.
At Starfest, we tend to do a lot more than we typically do at some of the conventions. We're much more involved in the programming that has nothing to do with what we're doing. I mean, it's not just our panels and it's not just our books. It's like we participate.
Well, we judge the costume contest.
We judge the costume contest. We judge the talent show. We basically do whatever they ask us to do. Hey, we need somebody to do X, Y, Z. Can you fill in? Sure, we can do that. Over the years, we've become, it started off as, hey, the people that we wanted to have judge the costume contest backed out. Can you help us? We're in a bind. And we're like, sure, what the hell? We're not doing anything anyway. And now it's one of the things I look forward to the most every year.
Am I the only one that can picture a knock on the door and Dayton muttering getting out of bed with his long night robe on with the hat and a candle and shuffling over to the door?
The only thing right about that scenario is the shuffling.
It's like you guys are their mascot.
Yeah, I register in the hotel as Wee Willie Winky.
God.
No, it just over time we've just become basically almost a de facto member of their staff in some ways, and because we just pitch in and do things for them.
Yeah,
You valet
that's
park,
awesome.
don't you? Don't you do the
To the
valet
point that
parking
they
if you're
cook
not
us
on a panel?
Yeah, no, but it's like they give us access to their staff lounge, where they feed all the convention volunteers all weekend and take care of them. So we instead of having to run up 9 floors to the other green room where they keep the guests, we just be able to duck in there and get a
I
sandwich
didn't
or
pay
something.
for a meal the whole 4 days.
I was going to say, I don't think except for the first night we were there. We basically
that's
got
right.
fed by the convention the whole weekend. So it's, they like I said, they treat us much differently than we get treated at other shows, and we return that by working that much harder at those shows.
So you get the Dave Mack treatment.
I don't know what Dave Mack gets. So.
I've seen his rider.
That sounds like the Aunt Jemima treatment. So I don't know what that is. So. No, it's fun.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you do. Don't tell me that shit.
Thank you guys for
So,
Well,
well,
is that
this
the last
this
was
was
week?
so
Kevin,
expertly
let me
done.
put in a quick plug. I'm going to put in
Yes,
before we
please.
leave the if there's if Starfest sounds like the kind of show that you want to see, and it totally is. I believe that the 2017 Starfest is set April 21st through 23rd, and it is going to be their 40th anniversary, and and they are planning some very cool stuff that I'm not going to elaborate on because number one, it's never. I mean, a year out, it's never certain. But number two, they want to keep these surprises under their vest. But it's going to be at the Denver Marriott Denver Tech Center. I think April 21 to 23, and I think Starland.com or StarFestDenver.com are two
Starland.com
URLs that'll get you there.
Starland.com, but it's the 40th anniversary of the show, or it's either their 40th anniversary or their 40th convention. I don't know.
Their 40th convention was this year.
Okay, so their 40th anniversary
was in 77, so it's the 40th anniversary.
But that also coincides with the 40th anniversary of the original Star Wars film. So you can expect there to be a connection between those two things.
And will the Starland vocal band be there?
Could be.
Ooh, one could hope, but they only play in the afternoons.
Well, it's a delight.
It is a delight. It's
You
a
guys
delight.
suck. Both of you suck. You suck. You suck it to the root. You suck
Jesus,
the hairs right off of it. You suck.
Jesus, Lou Grant, calm down.
I always
was
pictured
trying-
him more as a Mrs. Pinchon, but okay.
Anyway,
No, I see him more as a Ted Baxter.
Lou Rossi.
Lou,
I was
Kevin,
Ooh.
Kevin.
Yeah,
I was going to
digging
make sure
deep.
that Terry got
Wow.
all her questions answered because I thought she said she had more than one question.
No, I'm
was
good. I'm good. Yeah, I just wanted to.
You know what,
because
you
he
two are?
mentioned
I
it.
just figured it out. You're the Norton and Cramden of Star Trek writers.
I know that you know that I know that you know what you're talking about.
Get out!
Sincerely, I do hope you guys can make it to STLV. I would love to
Yeah.
hang out with you guys again.
I can hear
Um,
that. So I go with a baseball bat. I want to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, Mike will run you over with his cart.
Don't walk anywhere alone that whole week, you dick.
Well, one thing you don't have to worry
Have
about
your
is
food
Mike hitting you with
tasted
his
first.
walker, because he'll forget that. Oh,
Oh,
too soon?
no. No, seriously, thank you guys. It's always
Well,
a
I mean,
pleasure.
I understand that you might have some raw feelings, and what I will go into the Vegas situation with is the confidence that I may not be able to outrun everybody, but I can at least outrun Kevin. So,
Oh, I love you guys. No, it
hard
was fun.
feelings. No, it was fun.
It was
I
fun.
still want to see this thing happen somehow because I think it was a freaking awesome idea. So
Considers.
even if it's just a YouTube video of you and Kevin singing the songs yourselves, I want to see this.
I actually did receive.
I'm willing to consider a Mego action figure stop motion version.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I actually received when I tweeted. I actually received a tweet from Dunny O that says, "What is this, and where do I send my money?"
Nice. Well, we can do a Kickstarter.
Be careful. Be careful what you ask for.
It's the crazy ideas that make $1 billion. I'm telling you.
I'll tell you. Thank you guys. That was a blast. And if
So
anything,
much
it was
fun.
just really nice to talk to you again and to hear about all the things. I know it's been a busy, crazy year for you. And I'm just really excited about all the shit that's coming up. It's going to be so much fun.
You guys are welcome
very
back
kind.
anytime.
well, thank you for indulging us. And like I said,
Yes.
it was all Nick's fault.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and getting us good.
Nick.
Well, that does
Our
it for
listeners
this.
that listen, our listeners who listen to this tomorrow are going to be pissed.
I just want to know about the people who left early because they thought they had all the news, and then they're like,
I know, really.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I
They
kept
tuned
checking
in.
Got this
Twitter,
really
like
cool-
I'm waiting for 1701 News to come up with the whole, hey, there's going to be a Star Trek musical. Like,
I just got
you
email
left
from
early, bro. You pulled out. So, no.
Breaking news from the GNT show. All right.
Wait a minute,
Thank
we've been added to a lawsuit.
Oh, no.
The first one today.
Wait, no one insulted Harlan, did they?
No. Yeah, never mind. If I say it, we
That's
will
the
be.
next one.
So,
Shit, I just got email from the Scorpions.
you guys remember us? That's what they're saying.
It was Europe. I
Okay,
was
guys.
like, Europe? Really?
Europe
Steel
was
Panther was
inspired. That was the one I was like, oh my god, I'm not even sure if I could. I mean, how could we not do the final countdown?
A wimbo it.
Final
And ladies and
Countdown is going to
gentlemen,
be played over the part where they're trying to disarm the Genesis device. So
Oh, I like that. Oh, I was thinking
that's awesome.
on the bridge in Star Trek 3.
either one. Yeah. Get out of there.
and when,
And then as soon as they yell "get out," I mean, you hear the trumpet.
It's the
final trying to get the whales, you could play "Cool Change" by Little River Band.
And, I mean,
I need to do a shout out. A quick shout out to my friend Zach Land from work, who suggested on Dayton's Facebook page we do "Vulcans of Swing" by Dire Straits.
Nice.
Yes, very nice.
Oh my god.
So would there have been like something for for the unification, and then maybe for like the Prime Universe portion of the 2009 movie? Was that like in the plan or?
Actually,
Ooh,
you guys are going to
that's-
laugh. When the whole thing first started to come to a head, and you were talking a little bit, I thought to myself, I was really, number one, hoping anything you said would be true. But number two, I was really hoping that I was going to hear that they were going to do something inspired, like a set of comic books for Vanguard.
Oh no.
But I was
That would have been
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. If something like that happened, I wouldn't even joke about it. I mean, that would be fun. I don't think we'd ever even be able to repurpose something we wrote for Pocket in another kind of format like that. But yeah, I mean, Vanguard
what-
I was
comic
even
series.
thinking animated series.
What was
or
running
something.
through my brain was before you guys even started was, oh my goodness, it's going to be a new mashup comic book. Something like what they did with Planet of the
With
Apes.
Planet of the Apes.
Except this is going to be like something cooler. Like maybe like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. And I was like,
Arc 2?
You know what?
Hello.
I'm still mad at IDW
we're
for the whole
working on-
H Trek thing. So
oh really?
We're working on Jason of Starfleet Academy.
Oh my god. Well, Dayton blew my mind the other day because I mentioned Arc 2, and he told me that Dayton.
I left you hanging, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, you mean that I have it? I have it
Yeah.
on DVD. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have all three of those shows on DVD. You can buy them at half price books for like $5. So. And you're
And
still
if you
paying
all
like
don't know
$4
what Arc
too
2
much.
is,
So.
then you need to go look.
You know
Well,
what? Google's your friend.
Yeah.
And that is one thing we didn't really get a chance to talk about is there really was an announcement this week about Pocket coming out with DRM free Trek books.
Oh well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
All their, at least as far as I can tell, their whole back catalog of Star Trek novels is now available as ebooks without the DRM encoding.
Which is
And
spectacular.
I checked out what the free offerings that they have, and you're basically watching it through or reading them through an online app. So it's not like a download or anything.
Well, I
but
mean-
you can read them across any platform.
Is this
But
because
now,
of
my
the
understanding is-
demise of the Nook?
No, that might be. Well, I don't know, but my understanding is that you can buy the ebook
Mhm.
and it is then compatible with your ebook device du jour. I mean, it's not limited to like a Kindle or the
Yeah.
Nook.
Or an iPad
it's available in a format that they all can read, right?
Yeah, it's through
All right.
it's through a service called it's Gloss, GLOS.
Okay, now that part I didn't know about. So they have their
Yeah.
own app that you would have to download to your device and then read the books through that.
I
or-
was able to view it through a web browser. So
Okay, well, I don't know how
it's
that works then.
It's even
Well, I mean-
more generic.
No, what I mean is I don't know how that is a convenience for the ebook reader, the
Yeah.
person who has a Kindle or a Nook or a tablet or their phone. I don't know what. the
Yeah, I don't know how
advantage
that
is.
works either.
I thought my understanding was when they remove the DRM, you're then able to either convert it into a format that you can use on your device, or it's available in a format that you can use on your device, or maybe either of the two. I don't know. This is where I start to get fuzzy on how this shit works.
from what I've seen, and like I said, I picked up a few of the free books that they offer.
The free books. Okay.
Yeah,
But it was
and-
touted as being a cool thing if you're an ebook person.
yes.
So okay.
But any device, you either through your browser or through the Gloss or Gloos app, you'd be able to pull it up and read it. Now, this
Okay.
is an app that's pretty much anywhere. So it does allow you to kind of sort of
But I mean, yeah.
bridge every platform.
But it has the encoding in it that lets you adjust the font size and do all the things that you need to do that gives the ebook the advantage over a print version rather than just being like a PDF or something.
Yes,
So,
and it's also social, so you can actually chat and comment with other people at the same time on about a paragraph you just read.
Jesus Christ. Terry doesn't like somebody bending the binding of her book. How do you think she's going to feel about somebody suddenly busting in when she's reading?
I was going to say, you're going to live tweet a book? I haven't gotten to that page yet. How the hell does that work?
Well,
Spoilers for page 47. Thanks, Nick, you dick.
I love the fact that you can.
How did I
pick the
get
book-
blamed?
I love the fact that you can pick the book by series too. So if somebody wants to go back to all those, it's just nice to have the Corps of Engineers available again because I didn't get to read half of them before they got pulled. So
somebody who is savvy and is a frequent user of ebooks would have to educate me on exactly what you have gained by this move from Pocket, because I don't know that I understand it all. Because the first question I got asked was, well, what does that mean for copying and pirating? I'm like, so far as I know, it's not really going to have a huge impact because the assholes who pirate books weren't going to buy them anyway. So
I have 4 or 5 different ebook apps that I use and read. So we can talk after the show if you really want.
No, I mean, I'm just maybe at some point I'll pick your brain so I can explain it on the blog at some point. But it's like people. The biggest question that people asked me about yesterday was, well, how does that affect ebook piracy? I'm like, I suppose it makes it easier, but the people who were pirating ebooks weren't buying them before anyway.
And a lot of them weren't even for sale.
And the people who do buy them will continue to buy them, and we love those people. So. Mm-hmm. You know, they're the people that matter. So
that's us, man. That's us.
That's right. It's you guys. It's you all.
Okay.
So I don't know that the piracy. It sucks when I get a Google alert and it's for a download site. You know, a pirate site.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the numbers are on that. I mean, people might download them, but do they read them? You know, it's like
that's something I wondered too. Is that there's somebody that's going out there and getting these massive files of scores of books at once, and then they just kind of say they've got them, but I don't know that they actually read them.
You know, it's like for people who claim to download hundreds of books and because they can do them for free, they still come off as some of the dumbest people I've ever met. So you're obviously not reading them. So.
I think it's just more to say, hey, I got this, rather than hey, by any chance have you read?
Well, and there's a level of that with Star Trek fiction that has been there. I mean, there are people who will buy to collect. That's why there was a lot of pushback when the numbers came off the spines. I mean, they were like, how am I supposed to know that I have everything? I mean, how many people collected Pokemon cards and never played the game?
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, how am I supposed to keep track of them? I said, you put it after the one that you bought last month, and you keep doing that. I guess. I don't know. I mean, they're not collector cards. That was one of the things that I used to talk about. So they're not collector cards. They're books. They're meant to be read. And it's it's the same questions about, well, what order am I supposed to read them in? Publication order. That's the way they were written. I don't know. It's just, I mean, but then again, that's a very small percentage of people who get wrapped around the axle in entirely the wrong way and miss the whole point of it. Most people, the overwhelming majority of people who spend the time and the money to read these books know what they're doing, and they do it, and they have fun doing it. So
I have to admit that publication order generally is a great idea. However, I will say that is not true when it comes to Kirsten Beyer and the Voyager books, because she's still what seems like a couple years behind where the rest of the Star Trek universe
isn't that just like Kirsten Beyer?
She is a horrible, horrible person that does nothing but inconvenience and pain
I want to make it perfectly clear. I am not saying that because not only do I love the woman, I'm rightfully afraid of her. So I just want to say that was not me.
I totally love Kirsten. She's my big sister.
She is the best.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
And she wanted to make me a human centipede.
When she hears
and a hell of a writer,
kick me in the balls, it'll be over.
Can we do that live from Shorely?
Well, she's already threatened to wear them for earrings at least once. So I don't know. Actually, that's funny. Remember when I wrote that bullshit Ask Date and Answer where I made up a bunch of crap about Dave Mack and Marco Palmieri and Kirsten Beyer? And I made her out to be the sister that I fear because it's like she'll kick me in the balls if I tell mom and dad that she was out past curfew or something like that. I said something about she'll wear my balls for earrings or something. Well, she emailed me like 3 days later. We were talking about something completely different, and then she says, "Oh, and by the way, I'm going shopping for new earrings, you jackass." That was how she ended.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys.
We've
We
kept you
do
guys.
have to tie things up, but this was awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you.
We will
Anna.
talk
Very kind
to
to
you soon.
indulge us.
Thank you for having us on.
It was a blast.
Our pleasure.
Sorry, Mike.
The pleasure was all
It's okay.
yours.
It's all right. I forgive you guys.
Edit all
Nick?
the shit where you guys are talking.
Much.
Janet, do you have anything?
What?
Exactly.
I've been in another room throughout.
She's a
this.
lawyer. Can you tell? She's an armchair lawyer.
She's like, I've been in another room throughout.
She doesn't know
this
her
whole
ass from her elbow.
Evidently.
She just needs the training. That's all.
thing. Nick, take
all
us
right.
out.
We want to thank the lovely, the talented Kevin Dilmore and the obtuse and the obsequious Dayton Ward for joining us.
Somebody got a thesaurus for his birthday.
Word of the day, toilet paper. Thank you guys. This has been brilliant. And all you other podcasts that tried to do something and were transparent, suck it. And thank you all for joining us. Mike,
Kapla!
Terry,
Live long and prosper.
Janet,
Oh, it's transformative. See ya.
I don't even know what that means.
Joel on True Dickwads.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Grethor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my yo man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Gonna travel to new worlds. Beam on down and meet some green girls. Gonna see what we can see. A fancy free galaxy. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Come and take a tour with me. There'll be no cons or Kobayashi. Gonna travel to the end and make new friends with aliens. To boldly go where no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G